What do I mean by the art of backpacking? For me, the art of backpacking is the answer to the question, what do I love about backpacking? Or what does backpacking mean to me? This video is not about the craft of backpacking. And by that I mean the gear, through hiking, filters, trekking poles. Although I do love gear. It's a video that's going to introduce you to the episodes that follow that explain, after 30 years, why do I love backpacking? Some people would say that that's what backpacking is all about, a campfire. And I almost always build one. I was a little, not in the mood earlier, and I thought, know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because this is what makes backpacking backpacking. It helps build these beautiful memories of the evening. There's just something about a fire. I'm not sure what it is. Part of it is the smoke gets rid of the insects. They're not really that bad tonight. Oftentimes the smoke will keep the mosquitoes down. I hope you can hear those cracks and pops. I put one of the little microphones near the fire just to kind of let you hear it as well. What is the art of backpacking? This brief little segment is basically going to be a table of contents. What are the chapters that you're going to be looking at in the rest of this video? So chapter 1 is going to be backpacking is my therapy. The second chapter is backpacking is my sport. The third chapter is backpacking is my hobby. And then the fourth chapter is, and it's a little confusing, but you'll understand when you get there, backpacking is my church. The last two segments, the last two chapters, are number 5, chapter 5 is how does it benefit me psychologically? What does it do for me? It's not really my therapy in this sense, and you'll understand when I get to that section. It's about archetypes. And then the last segment is how does backpacking benefit me socially? And I think those of you that backpack, I think you're going to get that. You're going to get all of them, I hope. And hopefully this video is going to help you fall more in love with backpacking and appreciate what it does for you. So stick with me. Let's get to chapter 1. I've already mentioned this ever so briefly, but backpacking is my therapy. So I'm going to watch the timer on my GoPro just to make sure I stay within 2 minutes, because I could go on and on about this, but simply put, when I get back from a backpacking trip, I just feel better. As a therapist, I would hope to think that that's what people say after coming to therapy for a while. They just feel better. And it gives me a chance to disconnect from just a lot of things. People, the television, traffic. Man, I hate traffic. And just quietly enjoy this place. There's a lake down here. I took a little bit of a picture of that earlier. There's this whole notion of forest bathing, and that's what I'm talking about. It could be desert bathing or mountain bathing as well, because I feel the same way when I go into the desert out in Canyonlands, or when I go up into the mountains in Colorado. I love it. I love being up there. I love and there is a physical part of it, and I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But I just love what backpacking does for my psyche.
And I'm going to share a lot more about that in the full video that I do. Backpacking is my therapy.
It's so good. This one.
Backpacking is my sport. Well, what do I mean by that? And I'm going to talk a lot about it in the video. I've already talked a little bit about it in a video that I entitled Sage Advice from an Aging Backpacker. And I chose this as my sport a couple, well, again, 30 years ago. I'm going to show you this little siltstone tracking. I've gone a 0.75 miles, okay? I chose to do this, fell in love with it is really what happened. And it has helped me maintain a healthy body. And so I do a lot of things that help me do a better job backpacking. So I do hill repeats with about 45 pounds on my back. And then when I'm out here, I'm just doing all kinds of intervals. You really can't backpack or hike in Kentucky without doing a lot of hills. And so you're getting your heart rate up, your resting heart rate up, you're doing those intervals, which is super important. It's my sport. I train for it. I encourage other people to do it. I think I'm a healthier person for doing backpacking and hiking. And I do cycle as well, and I do some other things, but this is the sport of my choice, and I love it. And I'm going to talk a lot about it in the full video. It'll be 30-minute videos on each of these because this is really important. And I'll tell you what I do. How do I prepare for it? By doing upper and lower body resistance training, and again, hill repeats. I'm out here with trekking poles because I don't usually use trekking poles unless I'm training, especially for elevation. But okay, backpacking is my sport, and you're going to hear a lot more about that in an upcoming video. This is where the gear comes in. Backpacking is my hobby, and I am a gear nerd. I could work at a gear store. Most of us could. Those of us that have been doing it for enough time. I love gear. I love watching backpacking and hiking videos. I just love everything about it. And that's what it means to have a hobby. And the other thing that it means to have a hobby is you spend a lot of money on it. So I don't make any money. I don't make money on my YouTube video, these videos. I don't want to. I love doing it for the hobby part of it. And it just makes it so much more exciting. We're out hiking. They're older guys, probably close to my age. It's hard for me to tell sometimes because, they look younger, but, because they're out doing this. So backpacking, again, is my hobby. And I just love everything about it. I love going to the gear store. I love talking to other people about it. And that's where those nerd gear videos kind of scratch me where I itch. My son was asking me, why do you watch those? I've said this before. It's because I just love the stuff that they're coming up with for backpacking, those trekking pole tents and the lightweight sleeping pads, and just on and on and on. So I love that about it. And I'm going to do, again, a full video on backpacking is my hobby. Backpacking is my church. Don't get confused by that word church. I don't mean it in theistic ways like God. I mean it in more of a spiritual way. There was a video I watched years ago on TED Talk that talked about what is spirituality, and it's those things that get us outside of ourselves. And backpacking does that to me. Backpacking helps me get outside myself and get reconnected with something else. It inspires me. It really does make me want to be a better person. It wants me to get connected. I can hear these birds. There's a tufted titmouse off in the distance. Woodpecker pecking on the wood. It is kind of a beautiful church, isn't it? And I'll talk a little bit about that, I guess, sense of spirituality and connectedness and why that's so important. There's a whole diet called the paleo diet, and they talk more and more about a paleo lifestyle that's getting more connected with our very ancient ancestors. And I think getting into the woods is one way of getting connected with our ancestors. And I'll talk again what I do sometimes out here in this forest. Backpacking is my church. I love being up on these ridges. Sometimes a little bit of a breeze kind of helps in the summer months in particular. What does backpacking do for me? And how does it help me? And I've thought about this a little bit, ways that maybe you can benefit as well. So in another minute and a half, this is going to be a tough one to talk about, but there'll be a whole video on it. And backpacking helps me make a connection with my inner archetypes. And you can be like, well, what is that? What's an archetype? And archetypes can be used in a couple different ways. Carl Jung spoke of them, that inner, your collective unconscious, they dwell within there. They're archetypal images. I'm not really speaking about that. I'm speaking about the Carolyn Myss approach to archetypes. She's got a website, archetypes.com, and then a book by the same name. I encourage you to get it because what it does is it helps you, in a sense, get better aware of who you are. How do you see yourself? And how do you think or want people to see you? And she's got a little quiz that you take, and it'll help you identify what your archetypes are. It's nothing really scientific necessarily, other than how you answer the question is how you see yourself. So my three archetypes, and I'll add a fourth, but my three archetypes are explorer, athlete, and intellectual. And I'll talk about the other one in the video that I do on this, because there are some minor archetypes as well. So how does it help me? How does it help me connect with my archetypes? So athlete, I'm out here working out and getting stronger. Explorer, I'm finding new places to go. And intellectual, I'm looking at maps and books and learning new techniques and new skills. I think that's an intellectual. You're open-minded about learning new things. And so find out what your archetypes are and then try to act out or live out those archetypes. And when you're doing that, I think you're most happy. People who are not making connections with their archetypes and they are doing something else that's not consistent with their archetypes. You know, a lot of times people feel a lot of pressure to, go to college or become doctors, engineers, because that's what their parents were. That's that parent projection. And oftentimes we're doing things that are based on a parent projection and not really how we see ourselves. One example of somebody not living out their archetype is Charles Bukowski, who was this crazy good poet, obviously, but he worked in a post office for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe longer. Can you imagine just the drudgery of going out and doing something that you just don't enjoy doing, and you want to be an artist and be creative? And I think that there are a lot of people out there living out lives that are not consistent with how they really see themselves in that archetypal level. So backpacking helps me connect with my archetypes. Backpacking helps me connect with like-minded people. I think it's maybe pretty obvious. I don't think every backpacker shares my values, but I would dare say most do. Most feel that taking care of the trails and the outdoors, I'm a part of the Sierra Club. I think it's important to support organizations that share my values, but it's also nice to be around people that share my values. And most backpackers, and I would probably say many, not all, but many hikers, probably are very in touch with maybe a more naturalist or ecological framework of conservation and protecting the environment and so on and so forth, making sure our national parks are taken care of. So it helps me connect with like-minded people, and that's just so important in today's world, that we need to support each other. We need to be there for each other and encourage each other. There's this idea. I read this book recently by Jane Goodall and a guy named Abrams that wrote it together, and it's called The Book of Hope. And I think there's a part of the book that talks about that we have to share our grief with each other, the grief in what's happening to our world and what's happening to the people that are less able to defend themselves, the oppressed people and so on. I think it's important to be around those kind of people. And I think it says the same thing. It's the same thing with being around people, like-minded people who appreciate the environment. So backpacking helps me connect with people that are like-minded. I hope you join me on this. There's a squirrel, see it there? If you can see that squirrel going up the side of the tree, right there. There he goes, or she. The art of backpacking. So I hope you join me for each of the videos. Again, there's going to be probably 8 30-minute videos, and I'm going to talk about each of those aspects of The Art of Backpacking. They'll all be out on the trail, which of course, that's what I do. And probably might talk about gear a little, but only probably during the hobby one. I'm going to do a video in July, which will be my 1-year anniversary, and I'm going to do like a ending the rookie year as a YouTuber, and I'll just share some of the things I've learned as a YouTuber. Wow, you can see some hikers are right up there coming down that hill. That's the hill that I came down to get here. So, all right, stay tuned for the upcoming videos on the art of backpacking.